During a reduction in force, understanding what qualifies as a reasonable offer is crucial when considering your options, because turning down a reasonable offer can impact your federal benefits. In this video, I'm going to break down the key factors of a reasonable offer. I'll also cover what may happen if a reasonable offer is declined. And lastly, I'm going to highlight a few important things that you must do if you do not receive a reasonable offer. But before we dive into the details, welcome to the Money Briefing. My name is Jarrell Harvey, and I'm with Fedway Financial. On this channel, we cover topics related to personal finance, federal benefits, and retirement planning. So if you find this video helpful, please consider sharing and subscribing. A reduction in force involves much more than just layoffs. It also includes critical decisions about reassignments, relocations, and restructuring within federal agencies. During the RIF process, some federal employees may receive alternative job offers. However, not all job offers qualify as reasonable. When it comes to a reduction in force, a reasonable offer is defined by 6 key components. First, a reasonable offer must be in writing. Your agency has to provide you with a written description of the position that they are offering you. Secondly, the position must be a good match for your qualifications. In other words, the new position should be within your area of expertise or work experience. The job offer doesn't have to be identical to your current role or a prior role, but it should align closely with your qualifications and job series. Thirdly, a reasonable offer has to be with your current agency or with a successor agency. Given all the restructuring across the government as a whole, it's important to know if your agency is shut down and merged into another, or if your job function is transferred to a different agency, it still counts as the same agency. The fourth factor of a reasonable offer is that it has to be within your current commuting area, unless you have a mobility agreement with your agency. Generally, a commuting area includes a population center and its surrounding localities in which people live and can reasonably travel back and forth on a daily basis. OPM regulations do not define a strict mileage cap for commuting areas, so the mileage standard can vary based on the geographical area and your agency's guidelines. A fifth factor is that the position offer must be in the same tenure group. When considering the tenure of two positions, there are a few categories that have to match. For example, a full-time career employee has to be offered a full-time career position. But if a full-time career employee is offered a part-time role, it wouldn't be considered reasonable. And the last factor is that the job offer must be within 2 grade or pay levels of your current level or position. If you're placed in a lower graded position through a RIF, you will be entitled to retain your pay for 2 years if you completed at least 52 consecutive weeks at the higher grade. After the 2-year period, you will be eligible for indefinite pay retention. If you're in a situation in which you don't meet the 52-week eligibility for grade retention, you'll still be eligible for indefinite pay retention. However, you won't get the 2-year guaranteed salary protection. For federal employees, the pay retention is very important because that's what impacts most individuals' lifestyles. In the event that your salary is lowered at a later time, the good thing is that your high 3 average salary for the annuity calculation always considers the 3 highest consecutive years, no matter when they occur. The downgrade will mostly affect your status if there are future government RIFs, because you will compete and rank at the lower grade. If you receive a reasonable offer, it's important to evaluate whether accepting the position aligns to your personal and financial needs. Federal agencies typically treat a declined reasonable offer as a voluntary action. This choice could affect your future job protection as well as your eligibility for other benefits. If you're a federal employee who has been laid off, you may qualify for severance pay or immediate pension payments under a discontinued service retirement, which is also known as a DSR. However, If you decline a reasonable offer and are later laid off from your position, you will not be eligible for severance pay or a DSR. Also, if you resign instead of accepting a reasonable offer, or if you leave after starting a new position that you obtained through a reasonable offer, you will lose your right to severance pay and a DSR. It's also important to note that VERAs and VSIPs are not considered reasonable offers, so choosing not to accept them will not affect your future benefits. If you do not receive a reasonable offer, and if you meet other eligibility requirements, you can receive immediate severance pay or annuity payments after you separate from service. If you meet the standard qualifications for a voluntary retirement, you only need to submit the standard retirement application and paperwork. However, if you are applying for an early retirement under a DSR, there are some additional documents that you must include along with your standard application package. You will need to provide your specific RIF notice and any direct written communication from your agency and OPM about your involuntary separation. In addition to communication about your RIF, you must ensure that your agency includes Form 1510. With this form, your agency certifies that a reasonable offer of another position was not made to you. Failing to include these required documents with your application could result in OPM denying your request for a discontinued service retirement, or it could severely delay the processing of your application until the missing information is provided. It's also worth noting, OPM has the final responsibility of determining whether you qualify for a discontinued service retirement. If you do not receive a specific RIF notice, you are not eligible for a DSR, and OPM will not approve your application for a DSR just because your agency is conducting mass layoffs. So, to summarize, navigating a reduction in force is a challenge, but understanding the 6 components of a reasonable offer can make a big difference. Knowing how reasonable offers can affect your career opportunities, severance pay, and immediate retirement benefits can help you make a more informed financial decision. If you received any value from this video, please click the like button. You can also subscribe to our channel to get more content like this. If you're interested in seeing how we help our clients at Fedway Financial get the most out of their money and federal benefits, please visit our website at www.fedwayfinancial.com, or you can click on the meeting link in this video's description. Thank you for watching. We see you on the next Money Briefing.